Hello, my name is Ezra. I'm excited to be a finalist for the Polaris Fellowship. I'd love to kick off with the first question, introducing myself and speaking to some of the foundational experiences in my life. And I think it's important to share my background. A lot of what shapes my worldview. And in this photo here, you can see my parents, my dad, my grandfather Solomon, and my grandma Ina. And their story of fleeing the Soviet Union in the 1970s for the United States has shaped my perspective on the world that I entered, specifically the United States, and seeing it as a land of freedom, as a beacon of hope. Their sacrifice to get here was very significant. They left everything behind in Russia. They had, good jobs, good positions, but the straw that broke the camel's back was my dad had his 4 front teeth knocked out of his mouth by bullies that beat him up, basically because he was Jewish and it was identified on his passport. And so I feel as though I'm not here by accident, that I'm here in the United States with a lot of intention, and that I try to use my time intentionally and take advantage of the fact that I was lucky enough to be born here, and that there's a lot of sacrifices made to get me here. Other experiences that have shaped my perspective on the world. One foundational experience in my life has been creating this product called the Keeper. This has shown me that I'm capable of developing new things. This has given me a lot of confidence and a sense of agency. I developed this with my roommate in college, Jacob. And it's basically a phone wallet designed to solve the problem of lost dorm keys. And now this product is sold in over 300 Barnes & Noble stores. And then when the pandemic hit, through our manufacturer of keepers in China, we were able to source masks for about a third of the price that they were selling for on Amazon. So we used this opportunity to create the COVID Response Network, which is a 501c3, nonprofit. We set a goal of donating 100,000 masks to people that were most vulnerable to contagion. So, homeless shelters, food pantries, hospitals, and prisons. And what this taught me was there's so many people that are very vulnerable to the climate that we live in, whether that's the political climate, economic climate, or something like a virus. And these people kind of had no first lines of defense. So if they relied on food pantries for food, if the economy is shutting down and more people are unemployed, like there's just going to be more need. And so, it was also a test of, if we had an inspiring goal, like donating 100,000 masks when masks were very hard to find, we were able to get a lot of people to support us. And so one of those people is this guy in this picture right here, Brendan, who was a law student at the time, and he helped us create this 501c3 nonprofit, and he kind of drove masks all the way from New Haven, Connecticut to Philadelphia and donated them to the Children's Hospital in that photo. So that's another experience I'm really proud of. Some of the setbacks that I've had in my life are growing up with dyslexia. So having to navigate that learning disability. And I think that the way that I view that now is it was an opportunity to build empathy with people that learn differently. And it was my first kind of understanding that the processed version of education, where everybody moves at the same pace and everybody's kind of compared to the same metrics across subjects based on their age, is flawed. And that's opened my mind to different ways of learning and creating things, as opposed to just kind of regurgitating information. So I think an easy segue from here is to show the open tabs on my computer. So of course I pulled these two up to give you a reference point, but on Sundays like today, I spend most of my time working on Keeper. And so essentially this is our master order tracker, which shows the life of each of these products. A lot of these orders are from Barnes & Noble stores, to just kind of give you a sense of the reach. This is all the different universities, that over 280 or so universities that we sell Keepers to. And there's a few bookstores at each of these universities that carry Keepers. And we've we've sold, let's see here, actually, we've sold about 100,000 this year, 99,875. And next year, we're going to be launching 16 new products. And the reason that we're interested in all of this is because we want to build a big enough business to give ourselves financial freedom to focus on some other ideas that excite us and leave our day jobs. And so if you can see on the right side of my screen here, some of the other ideas that excite us, what I'm working on now outside of Keeper is a concept called Ohana, which is, it came out of a frustration that my co-founder and I had in college, where we were paying for housing that we weren't living in. So this graphic here kind of shows there's 11.2 million college students in the United States. If they're all paying some average of $675 a month, and then there's 3 months of unoccupied time. So the 3 months in the summer, they're paying for housing, but not using, amounts to billions of dollars spent on housing that's unneeded. And this is a huge opportunity, because short-term housing for either people that are looking for housing for an internship or working remotely, essentially Ohana is going to be a marketplace that can facilitate subleasing. However, I think that there's a much bigger opportunity here, because there's 80 million Americans that are co-living, and there's currently no easy way to find roommates, no easy way to sublease individual rooms, no easy way to split expenses every month. People go through hours of Venmo tag, and then you don't even know what you're being charged. And then lastly, there's no consolidated place where reviews are kept, reviews on landlords, reviews on tenants, information that de-risks this whole process year over year. So we're excited to be building this in parallel. And of course, on my other screen, I have my work with McKinsey, and I've been with McKinsey for about 1.5 years. I'm starting to step into a managerial role. So my next project, I'll be a manager for this agrilytics company. So basically, they have created an algorithm that looks at weather patterns, soil samples, and satellite data, and they can improve the crop yield of soy and corn farmers. And so we're trying to grow their revenue from 10 million to 50 million. And I'm managing this project. And basically what that means is I meet with the clients daily. We have set certain targets. We push forward on reaching those targets through different, initiatives. And a lot of the problem solving that I've had to do is figure out which regions they need to exploit first, what their key market demographic is. And so all of that stuff is on my other computer. And then I'd love to get into the important truth that very few people agree with me on. And I think it's that the US higher education system is a scam, particularly because the incentive structure is towards getting straight A's. And I think setting a goal of getting straight A's is counterproductive and a terrible way to learn. I think, there's merit to being in a university environment. I certainly appreciate the time I spent there. There's merit to studying things that you're interested in and having the space to do that. But leaving college with nothing but good grades doesn't prepare you for much, besides signaling to employers that you'll put your head down and work hard. And what I see now with people that recently graduate, 22, 23-year-olds, is they're working these jobs where they're sort of a cog in the machine. They could easily be replaced by somebody else, and their life feels meaningless because they're not, there's nothing that they're producing that's authentic to them. And I think if our higher education system was set up differently and more like what Pano was talking about at the University of Austin, where you set an ambitious goal and you work backwards and you learn the things that you need to learn to be able to achieve that ambitious goal, I think people would leave with some tangible skill. And it would also serve to fight against the woke kind of capture that we've seen at different universities, where people basically, the whole incentive structure is to tell your professor what they want to hear so that you get a good grade, and you're not really challenged to think. But if you had to create things in the real world and the marketplace was your judge, or consumers, or a broader group of people than just your professor, then you couldn't really create these quasi-religious ideologies that I think have corrupted higher education. So yeah, I think that higher education is largely a scam, which is why I'm excited to be a part of the University of Austin. And then lastly, the mark that I'd like to leave on the world. So, I feel very excited about solving different problems. I think being remembered, and at the end of my life, if I get remembered for something, I would hope that I am remembered for building a few businesses that have solved significant problems that improve people's lives. But outside of just that, I would like to create a system that helps disenfranchised people, stateless people like my grandparents and my dad find opportunity. And so whether that's helping them resettle in the United States or the Western world, or whether that's meeting them where they're at in refugee camps, getting access to accredited college education programs that are remote, helping them communicate with loved ones to help expedite the process of resettlement. I think that there's a lot of opportunities to help people get to the places where they can flourish. And I feel lucky to be in this place, and I feel lucky to be working hard to flourish. So I'd love to give other people that avenue as well. Thank you. I really look forward to hearing from you guys, and I'd be honored to be a Polaris Fellow.